Studio monitors are what most people use to mix music because they help you hear space, depth, and bass the right way. They're the mixing gold standard, right? But when you mix on headphones, things can sound unnatural and the low-end bass can even trick you. Beyerdynamic is sponsoring this video because they made a free plugin called Headphone Lab. It's supposed to make your headphones sound more like real studio monitors. So, can this software really help to close the gap? Let's find out. For my first test, I'm going to use the DT770 Pro headphones, the same ones I've recommended on this channel for years. A lot of you probably own these already, so this kind of makes this real. When you open up Headphone Lab, the first thing you do is select your exact model. You'll see all the DT models here from 770s, 880s, 990s, and even the Pro X models, and the higher end 1770s and 1990s as well, and a few others down here too. So I'm gonna choose the one I have here, which is the 770 Pro X. And the software is gonna calibrate them to Beyerdynamic's studio target. That means it's aligning the frequency of the headphones to be more neutral. And it's also making the headphones experience feel more like you're mixing with speakers. Now, on the right side under loudspeaker emulation, you can adjust the speaker angle from 40 degrees to 60 degrees to 80 degrees. And this changes how wide the virtual speakers feel in front of you. And below that is the room control, which adjusts the sense of space from very dry to very wet, so it feels more room-like. So I'm gonna let you listen to what I'm hearing here, but of course you're not gonna get the same experience, especially if you're not using Beyerdynamic headphones. As soon as I turned on the speaker emulation, the stereo image moved forward instead of being just on the left and right of my headphones. How's it doing this? Well, let's talk about crossfeed because this is what's really happening here. When you listen to real speakers in a room, your left ear doesn't hear just the left speaker, it also hears some of the right speaker, kind of delayed and at a slightly lower volume level. And the same thing happens on the other side. And that's what helps your brain hear things like width, center placement, and depth. It's the way we hear things naturally. Now, headphones normally don't do this. The left driver only hits your left ear, and the right driver only hits your right ear. Let's listen again. I'm gonna start with the loudspeaker emulation completely off. And we're gonna put the vocals in.
Do you remember the 21st night of September?
Let's turn it on.
Love was changing the minds of pretenders, chasing the clouds away.
Super easy to hear this. When I'm on my headphones and the loudspeaker emulation is off, the sound is going straight in. I mean, you could feel it going in this direction. And when the loudspeaker emulation is on, I'm hearing it coming at me like this. Now, without this is why headphone mixes can feel super wide and sometimes disconnected. Crossfeed fixes this and matches how speakers sound in a real room. So check this out. You can actually get even more accurate with this software with this factory calibration thing. I'm going to test this with the DT1990 Pro Mark II because it does something extra that I've never seen before. But what about the bass? Yeah, bass in headphones. Well, when you use studio monitors, you feel the low end move through the room. You hear how the kick and bass sit together in real space. On headphones, the bass goes straight into your ears. It can feel bigger than it really is, or sometimes tighter than it will sound on speakers. With Headphone Lab turned on, the low end feels more balanced and controlled and not hyped. The kick and the bass are easier to separate if you're mixing. Now, when I tested this out on my own mix, I found myself making smaller adjustments instead of big changes. That's important because good mixes usually come from small, careful decisions, not big guesses. Now, let's talk about something a little more advanced. The factory calibration option. By default, the Headphone Lab software uses what Beyerdynamic calls a golden sample. That means they have a reference version of each headphone model, and the software adjusts your headphones to match that studio sound profile. So even without doing anything extra, the DT770s are being aligned to a more precise mix-ready standard. But with certain models like the DT1990 Pro MKIIs, you can go even further. You can enter the serial number of the exact headphones you own, and the software pulls the original measurements for that specific unit, the exact measurement for the headphones you're holding. That means it adjusts for tiny difference in materials and manufacturing that kind of just naturally happens between different units. It's basically tuning your exact headphones as precisely as possible. For people who want the most accurate monitoring they can get from headphones, it's a pretty interesting option.
Do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing the minds of pretenders, chasing the clouds away. Our hearts were ringing in the key that I saw.
Oh, and I should also show you that if you want to get even more advanced, you can click the settings button here and actually put in your head circumference so it's actually adjusting to your head shape. So I pulled up a few of my own mixes, songs I already know really well, and I listened for a few simple things. With Headphone Lab turned on, I noticed the mix felt more forward, almost like the mix was sitting in front of me instead of inside my head. A couple of my mixes actually felt slightly wider than I expected, and I found myself making small adjustments to panning and the low end that I probably wouldn't have caught just mixing on regular headphones without this plugin. So, can Beyerdynamic headphones with this Headphone Lab software actually replace studio monitors? I think the honest answer is this. In a perfectly treated room with high-end speakers, studio monitors still have an advantage because you're hearing real sound moving through real space. But how many of us actually have that perfect space? For many home producers, especially if you're mixing in bedrooms, apartments, or untreated rooms, DT headphones with Headphone Lab gets pretty close to that speaker experience. And where this really makes sense is when you're traveling. If you're on a train or working in a hotel or producing somewhere without studio monitors, this gives you a consistent reference. It's not about replacing every professional studio setup, it's about giving you a practical way to mix no matter where you are. So what now? Well, download the free software and give it a try if you own any of the Beyerdynamic DT headphones. And if you want my take on some of the latest headphone models, watch the videos right here. Keep making the music you love, and I'll see you later.